Labvakar, dāmas un kungi, draugi, labvakar cēsis, un drīkst jūs arī saukt labvakar gardēži, jo mēs esam sapulcējušies uz sarunu ar ļoti interesantu nosaukumu Ēst, nedrīkst, izmest. Tie, kas ir labi mācījušies latviešu valodu skolā, zina, ka tur ir viena problēma šajā virsrakstā, tur trūkst komats. Vai ne? Un atkarībā no tā, kur jūs ieliekat to komatu, pilnīgi mainās tas, ko tas teikums pasaka. Un mēs pie tā nonāksim. Bet ļaujiet man jūs iepazīstināt ar fantastiskiem cilvēkiem. Sāksim ar Agitu. Agita Kraukle, pārtikas bankas, pēdušai Latvijai vadītāja. Mēs dzirdam virtuālus aplausus. Nē, mums arī ir fani šeit. Šis kungs, Nindzas tērpā, ir cēsinieks, bet visa Latvija viņu pazīst kā šefpavāru, ieskaitot arī mazos četrkrājienos draugus. Māris Jansons, Kesti šefpavārs. Un pa kreisi no manis ir mana kolēģe Regīna Ikala no Rimi Baltika. Un kā jau es minēju, mēs esam kolēģi, jo šis un tas apslim, un tāpēc man ir jāvada šī diskusija. Bet ir mums vēl viens pārsteigums jums, kas sēž, kā tagad pierasts Zoomā, otrpus ekrānam, un tas ir Maikls Hāze. Hi, Michael. Greeting from Cēsis.
Hello, how's it going? Great to be here.
Yeah, it's great. And just to translate what I was talking about, that we are in a beautiful company and we are in a company of gourmets. And I was trying to translate the headline of our talk, but this is very specific into our language. And basically, long story short, don't throw out food. Anyway, short disclaimer in Latvian again. Ja nu kādam ir problēmas ar angļu valodu, lūdzu paceliet rokas un pie jums atskries kāds gaiši zilā cepurītē un sāksim tulkot. Iespējams uz latviešu valodu. Anyway, Michael, we are here somewhat because of you, because you have a wonderful idea. How to combine artificial intelligence and this global problem of food waste. And I think let's give you a floor. You can talk about Plant Jammer, your company, and this widget, Empty Your Fridge, which was recently launched in Latvia in Rimi.lv. And also, one disclaimer, although we are very technically advanced, when you will need next slide, you say next slide, and the magic will happen with the next slide. Okay, Michael, the floor is yours.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. So happy to be here. I'm Michael, CEO and founder of Plant Jammer. We're a startup based out of Copenhagen, Denmark. And what we do is basically we believe that people, you all have the power to make a difference in your food habits, particularly when you stop food waste. And we want to make that more easy. So I'm not seeing the slides right now. Is it possible to get them up? There they go. Perfect. So basically what we do is we believe that we can help people eat sustainably by putting a really powerful tool into their hands. And we do so because the tools that are there already are not very good, so we can build something better. So if we look at the existing tools first, next page, then there's a reason why 44% of food waste across the whole food chain is actually happening in your fridge, in your home. And that's because the tools we have available are not very good. So if I try to find something to cook, click next, and I type in that I want a special recipe, then I get 44 million results of recipes in front of me, and it's quite a jungle, right? This is in Google. And if I then click the first recipe next, Then I get something with basil and pine nuts. I don't have that, so I click the next one. And it's got broad beans. I don't know what it is. And this is when I give up and I make, spaghetti bolognese once again, right? And that's exactly what happens for most of us. We don't really use what we have in front of us because we don't have the repository at home. Because you click next, there's a funny statistic that 80% of people, they cook less than 10 different recipes per year. We don't have that diversity. And we'd like to help get to that diversity where we can actually cook what we have so we don't get those 44% of food waste in our home. Next. So we basically use AI, artificial intelligence, to make personalized recipes that actually can change our behavior. Because the normal way to change behavior is recipes with beautiful pictures, but they don't adapt to you, and then you don't cook it. So try to click next. So what we do is, with one line of code, we put on the Rimi site an experience like this, where first people click in, what ingredients do I have? Next. And then you get proposed the kind of dishes you can make. You click one of those, next. And then you get a recipe, but it's not just any recipe, it's a dynamic recipe, which means you can adapt it. And on the next page, we'll say what it means to have a dynamic recipe. So next. So a dynamic recipe is one you can personalize. It's one you can talk to, next. And a recipe you can talk to, you can, first of all, next. If you click next, yeah, then you can adjust portions and units like most recipes can, but there's much more to it. So if you click next again, then you can substitute ingredients. So every ingredient that's in there, you can click it and you get other ideas for what you can use instead. Click next. You can also twist it. So make it vegan, make it gluten-free, make it Mexican. Next. And finally, the thing you can do is get spice pairing. So if you find a recipe, it's like, that's good, but I want more spices. What's good? Then you get a neural network that shows you what are the best ingredients that are spices to add to. You're adding those and you're getting a recipe that's truly yours. Next. So that's what we put up on Rimi, and we did it in all the 3 regions, actually, Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia. And then at the end of the journey, we're also asking users, did you enjoy this? And they do. So we have what's called Net Promoter Score. And these are very high numbers for Net Promoter Score. So basically people say yes to the fact, they give a 9 or a 10 to the fact that they would share this with a friend because they were enjoying the experience. So a really nice first journey here for the first month. We've been having this experience online, and we keep on adapting it and learning from users and letting the neural network, that's the artificial intelligence, make it better every day. Next. So that's what it is. It's just one example on the Baltic side here, a general one, but you can also go on your regional site in Latvia and find the experience, play around, give us feedback. At the end of the journey, as mentioned, there's this score and you can give your private comments to learn to stop food waste and eat something delicious every day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Michael. That was very inspiring and a quick walk through your idea. But maybe you can share some insights how you came up with that idea. I will have a startup plant jammer and I will solve this food waste problem.
Yeah, so basically what happens to me was, so first of all, from the very beginning, I started 5 years ago and wanted to work with sustainability, which I also did before in consulting, working with a company called McKinsey. And there I worked a lot in the energy sector and in mining sector and realized that food is this amazing area where it's actually within our realm of control as individuals to do something that matters. So in energy, you need to build big infrastructure and regulation, but in food, it's us and our habits. So that's really empowering. So there's a fantastic expression in India that goes, the economy grows at night when the government is sleeping. And you can say the same within food. This is actually an area where it's within our realm of control to make a difference. And that's why I decided to create a tool that can empower people as individuals to make a difference in their homes.
I remember when we launched this Plant Jammer widget, I asked you about the name Plant Jammer, maybe, and there's a beautiful story behind it. Maybe you can share some words about that.
Absolutely. So there's 2 words in the plant and jammer, right? So where's this plant? And that's because we're focusing, there is meat and animal-based products, but we are focusing on going into the green direction of eating more plants because they're amazing. They can taste amazing if you use them right. That's the plant part. And the jammer part is from jazz, where you have a jazz jam session. We would like the kitchen to be a place where you do much like you do in a jam session, where it's not strict rules. You have some core sort of rules when you do jamming, but then based on those core rules, you can freestyle. And it's really that freestyle that's non-perfectionist, it's more free, that we want to get into the kitchen as well. Hence, planned jammer.
Thank you, Michael. We will come back to you later, and we will jam a bit here on the stage here in Cēsis. And now we are participating in this conversation, and 90% of the discussion partners here are amateurs, and we have one professional. So maybe start with Māris, with you, and we are now. Amateurs are speaking about the food waste, and you see it from the very, 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 how to say, in Latvian we have this expression, skats no virtuves, you mean, which means you see the production and you see how the business is made. So, Mari, what's your take on food waste?
Yeah. Hi, Michael. It looks also a very nice tool for the chefs when I have a vacation, so I can give to my chefs and they can go inside the fridge. And okay, but when Juris called me yesterday and he said, listen, we have to talk about food waste, and so I said, you shouldn't invite me, because me as a chef, in my life, I think I waste a lot of food.
You have bad karma.
Yeah, through the caterings and so. But the main things for me, I think we have to change a little bit habits before you throw out the food at your home. That's what's working in my family. What I'm telling to my wife: if you go to the shop, you need a receipt. You need what you will do. Not like just, okay, you go to the shop and you are buying like regular stuff and milk and eggs and this, and we should have vegetables and we should have this. But what you will do with all this, and this is the mind problem with people, they are not buying the right ingredients, right amount, and then you just make and there will be less food waste, and you will make a right amount of portions. That's the main thing. Because if you're buying just the vegetables, and then you go home and then you start to think, okay, what I will do, it's too late. But for the restaurants, and last year I was in Norway, we had a big conference about sustainability, about this the same problem. And my idea was, actually that was before COVID, and I understand that we have to change a little bit habits, and we have to think a little bit 3 days, maybe 2 days before. For example, if you go to big conference for exhibition, like where is about 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people, so it would be nice that we have a like app where you can choose what food court you will eat, what you will eat, and maybe what time, and then chef can prepare the right amount of the food. That could be. This is going slowly, but I think people start to think 2 days, because if you want something good, you have to think a little bit for yeah. I think.
Michael, you heard there's another business idea, yes, now for the chefs. And may I ask Regina about the results of this planned jammer, Empty Your Fridge. We launched it just 1 month ago, and what about the results and how the customers are responding to that?
Well, yeah, actually we launched more than a month ago, and the NPS score was already presented by Michael. And what we can see now is that almost 40% are looking for recipes for dinners. For example, for lunch, there are around 25 only. The top often products searched in all 3 Baltic countries are eggs, milk, and seasonal vegetables. It depends from the country, but mostly it's tomatoes, cucumbers, carrots, or potatoes, or zucchini at the moment. And the top recipes which are opened are quiche, pasta dishes, omelettes, and casserole. one more interesting thing is this top dietary filter selected, and the most selected is vegan and lactose free. Yeah, and totally widget in Baltic states are used more than 15,000 times. Of course, 15,000 is not a global record, but it's a good start for Baltics towards the food waste solving and learning to respect the food.
Yes, and that's a very good point, because the overall topic of this conversation festival is respect. And as I was preparing for this talk, I was thinking to myself that we should give much more respect to food, because now in Europe we have the first world problems, with the food. We have excess of food. We buy it more than necessary, and as Maris told, we have to think and plan what we have to buy. And Rimi, as a big retailer, is also investing in sustainable things, and also we have our good partners in Food Bank. And I think, Agita, you can a little bit give a landscape of the Food Bank, how long it's been around in Latvia, and how it is functioning, because maybe people have heard that there's a food bank, but what's behind that?
So first of all, Food Bank is a charity project which is helping with food families with low income. We started our project more than 10 years ago. Our first steps was not quite right, like nowadays, because we were collecting money and buying food. But the last 5 years we are dealing mostly with the food waste. Well, actually, I don't like food waste. I like surplus food, because waste is something damaged and ugly and ew.
Yeah, it's
Surplus
all about
food.
branding, because if you said the product that has best before gone out of the best before, it's but the food surplus, it's a very good branding.
Yeah, that's more positive. So yeah, Rimi is one of our biggest partners in many charity projects and activities, and also reducing food. Okay, I'm also telling food waste, surplus food level. But I have to say that we have a quite big stereotype in Latvia. We are thinking that most of surplus food is from retail chain. We are still thinking that. And then when you out loud say, no, it's you, households, they are, no, it's not.
It's you.
You all. Mm-hmm. But when you say, look at your fridge, look how many products you are buying extra, and then think about that you are throwing away. In that time, we have many families, I could say that 20% from our society is with low income, and they cannot get all the food what they need. They're living in higher or lower hunger. So this is the point when we have to think about how much food we are buying, and the retail chains also can think about what they can do with the food, which is still in good quality, but it's a little bit some kind of problems with the quality. They can choose it not to throw it away, which it is the easiest way, but give it to charity projects like our food bank. And Rimi is doing that. They are great at that, actually. They are crazy, and they are innovative, and they are cool.
Yeah, and I was when I was in Norway in this conference like last year or 1.5 years ago, I don't remember. You have in a Scandinavia app where if I have a food after exhibition or maybe leftovers from some catering, you have a beautiful app where I can write down what I have, and people can go and pick it up. So I don't know why we don't have. I was trying, but this app doesn't work in Latvia. So this is also good for my perspective from catering, from restaurant. And we believe we are a lot of, and also hotels. So this app should be also in very could work nice in Latvia, I think. Yeah.
Let me comment on this one. I think this app is called Too Good to Go. It's an app by and I'm afraid to pronounce this specific Danish word, Mette Lykke. She's a very famous entrepreneur. Her first, sorry for this noise, it's an open air event, and Mette, she had her first application which was called Endomondo, and some of you who are very sporty and do a lot of running know Endomondo, and Mette sold Endomondo for mind-blowing $90 million, and then she focused on another huge problem, teaching people not only to sport but to throw away or to distribute food which is surplus. So it's good to go. I think maybe in some way. But speaking about Rimi, I know that we have some applications and some widgets also in a pipeline, and it's a lot of testing, and it's Europe, you know, a lot of regulations, and Agita may add to this because our collaboration with Food Bank is also, you have to do a lot of paperwork to get that process running. Well, anyways, maybe Agita, you can tell a bit of details how it is, what is the process, how you get the food and how you distribute it. So it's not new. I think Food Bank is not a new idea.
Food bank is not a new idea, but the food waste topic, surplus food topic, is something new in our society. We started dealing with it only 5 years ago. We are still new and green in this. We are still looking how to do things better, how to save money, save time, do things with less resources. Well, now we are once a week going to 3 biggest Rimi stores in Riga. We are starting with Riga, then see how it goes, and maybe this year or next year try regional stores. So yeah, once a week we are going to store and pick bread from the stores. The biggest part, which is like a surplus food, is bread, and a little bit candies and sweets, cookies, but bread. And then once a month we are going to distribution center and picking up dry food. They are still good and quality products, but with little visual defects, broken.
Maybe you can explain what is dry food.
Oh, pasta, oat, oil, breakfast cereals, sweets also. Yeah, but the dry food is what we can storage in without fridge.
And how many people you can help on daily basis or weekly basis?
Every month we are helping more than 5,000-6,000 people. In winter it's about 10,000 people, which is with low income. Mostly they are families with children.
Michael, we always look up to Scandinavia as a sort of example. Maybe you can share some thoughts. How is a food waste process or food bank processes are organized in let's say, Denmark?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, great work you're doing there, Agata. I think it's super important work. We also have food bank in Denmark, where I'm from, and basically what they do is they're doing a similar thing when they're identifying the food waste, both in retailers but also among food brands. So they go to the factories as well, where they're realizing when there's overproduction. And then what they do is they distribute it in 2 different ways. So one is that they are delivering it to mainly sort of social homes, so where there's big industrial canteens or for more people who are living, like homeless people who are having a place to eat once in a while, for instance. So some of these sort of institutions they bring it to, that's the biggest one. And then what they also do is they have 5 different stores within Copenhagen where people can come and also buy surplus food. So that's a second way. But what's worked really well for them is the institutions, actually. So that's also a thing to consider there as a way to position the food surplus. By the way, I'm a good friend of Metis, and we also work with Too Good To Go, and I'll let her know that they should consider Latvia for Too Good To Go.
Oh, what a small world! Of course.
Indeed.
You had something to say. You grabbed the mic. Okay.
But anyway, as I said, I can see look at my perspective as we talked before. For example, in the restaurant, that's why we choose to make a tasting menu. So we have only 5-course tasting menu in the restaurant, and that's mean we know already how much people will come. For example, at the dinner. And I have only, if we have 20 people, I have 20 halibuts, 20 potatoes, 20, everything is precisely, and no food waste. And we don't have a la carte. And this is a la carte is actually bad for the food waste, because all the ingredients are sitting in the fridge and waiting for orders. And duck is saying, "Order me, please," and halibut say, "No, order me." So you understand me, yeah? And also, I also told you before that if you order the food from the restaurants, which was actually happening and still happening in Latvia, and guests are doing with this brand Guest at Home, so you eat right amount of, okay, it's a little bit expensive. You think so, but if you
just a little bit.
But if you start to think that you need to go to shop, you have to buy, you have to know this recipe, and you have to cook it, you have to learn to cook, and so and so. So this is also when you buy a direct amount of portion and food, you eat it, and no food waste also. But we have a different kind of situation. But first of all, I think we have to change a little bit habit. We have to think before, like what you will make. And I think this app could be nice. Yeah, maybe I can write down all the ingredients what I would like to, and you have also the receipts which are ready. I just like I can use it like for my shopping list, right?
Maris, we actually on that note, it's something we're also learning. Sorry about that. That's exactly that. Meal planning is super important. If you look at the homes and households who have the least food waste, it's people who meal plan. So they sit down on a Saturday, they look through what should I get, how many meals, they plan it up front, and then they buy. So that's also something that we're investing in dramatically right now, is making a meal plan experience where you're not just getting one right now for your kitchen, but you're saying, okay, if I'm gonna have 4 meals during the week for 3 people, how much do I need to buy? What am I going to cook every day? And it releases the stress dramatically once you have that meal plan. It's a lot easier once you have the meal plan to live your daily life and actually cook good food. So I completely agree with that purpose of planning a bit.
It looks like we need, there is a popular at the moment, those coaches which are training you to speak and do business. We need a coach for buying food, right? I can do that. Totally. I can do that.
Well, I can say that not only for buying food. I can share just shortly. In June, we made the research just to make sure is really situation in Baltics so critical as in a whole world that we are throwing out or food wasting 44%. And actually, the question was defined a bit different, but the idea is that almost 90% people in Baltics are throwing out the food. It's not a question more rarely or more often, but almost everyone is throwing out something. So yeah, and the main reasons why it's happening is people are buying too much and are cooking too much. And this is also few things we have to learn, have to educate the people, and also think about it by ourselves.
So at school we should have like a big debate was a few months ago that at school we have this military education, so we also have to have like gourmet education.
It's not like gourmet. It's one of the biggest things what kids should know in your life, how to consume food and nutrition, and so it's the main thing what actually you have to know. It's more than mathematics, I think.
We're coming back to this food respect of food.
And but there was some very interesting data, and I'm going to challenge that. Meaning, namely, you said that in the whole life, people more or less use only 10 recipes, and I'm quite shocked because only 10 recipes.
Don't look at me.
That's true.
I made last year like 300 new recipes. It's like a lot of, because we changed the delivery menu every week, 12 new dishes. So that's a lot. But I'm different, you know.
Yeah, you're different. but at home you don't like you don't have like a fridge and a la carte.
No, because I have a kids. If I don't have a kids, for example, my menu would be a little bit different because we would try to experiment a lot. But I start to figure out that in my family, you know, the boy has 9 and the girl 12, and I start to figure out that we are, for example, in a breakfast we have like 4 different dishes. Like I'm eating this, boy is eating this, mother is eating that, a girl is eating this, and it start to get a little bit complicated because they are, you know, start to be older. For example, my wife don't eat anymore like animal dairy products, for example, and it's really complicated at home to make sustainable, and you don't know how much he will eat, kid, for example. That's why I'm so big, because I'm eating all the, you know, all the dads know how to eat kids' portions in the restaurants.
Yeah, but personally, about these 10 recipes, like you can share your daily routine.
No, not my personal experience, but from our target group, families with low income, we asked them what they are doing with our food package, and the problem is that they don't know what kind of meal make from our food package, because they are knowing how to make pasta, add canned meat, and that's it. And our target group is a little bit, how to say, they are doing what it said in the recipe. If there is an olive oil, they'll say, oh, I cannot make this recipe because I don't have so much money to buy olive oil. And then we are saying, no, you can use any other oil and it still be a good meal. So we have to learn them how to make food from meals from our food packages. And this tool is not only for people who have money, but also for our target group, because they can make very interesting and different meals every day from our food package products. This is great, actually, because they have really struggled. They are making every day, every week the same meal, and they don't know what else they can make.
We should definitely have a conversation after this, Agatha, because I'm actually right now we're working with the oldest food bank in the U.S. called St. Mary's out of Arizona, and the biggest food bank in the U.S. Called Second Harvest out of Silicon Valley, and we work exactly with their communities, where they actually have different communities. Some of them are native communities, eat different kinds of food, so we build dedicated recipes and kinds of ingredients for them, so it's really tailored, making sure to guide. Because they have the exact same problem that, you know, when you're talking about food banks and it's a sort of lower rung of the ladder in the social hierarchy, then there's also less habits in the kitchen and more guidance needed. So we'd love to help.
I see the little bit problem with your app about heritage, about as you told that you're working with the United States, for example. That's mean that people in Latvia will make the same salad as people making in a for
Arizona.
example, Arizona. So this is a little bit different because we are from Latvia, and you know there's a you need to write down the Latvian recipes.
Yes.
Traditional. You have it?
I completely agree. So
really,
what we're actually doing right now in Arizona, for instance, is we actually have 15 master students going around doing anthropological studies, understanding individual regions, where do they eat, what are the ingredients, what are the kind of dishes, and then we plug that in to make sure that it's regionalized and makes sense regionally. So you're absolutely right. One needs to make sure that the subset and the AI is trained on a local set of recipes. So I completely agree with you. That is necessary.
Okay, Michael. So if at the moment we can select that we want Italian or Asian food, for very soon we will tick across at Latvian, right?
Yes, exactly.
Or Baltics, at least.
Absolutely. We can definitely do that.
Yeah, I wanted to point this out that food is very culturally inclined thing, and if some recipe works for I don't know, guys in Arizona, it doesn't work for people in Cesis, but except maybe Italian food, it's something of a unique, universal stuff. But Maris here, he's a shy guy because he didn't mention that he is one of the ambassadors of the so-called movement Latvian Taste, and if you now think about Latvian taste, what are the ingredients of the Latvian taste? And I will answer to that question because I can't not imagine a lot of ingredients in Latvian taste. So the food waste problem wouldn't be here, like if we use only Latvian taste.
What was the question?
What is the Latvian taste?
What is the Latvian taste? Well, I say for us, for Latvia, it's we have to develop the complementary Latvian cuisine, like new recipes. But the most important is ingredients. So the beetroot, the honey, the amazing honey what we have, the rye bread, the cottage cheese, the sour cream, mushrooms and berries, of course everything what we have in a lakes, fish and meat and so on. So, but we
potatoes.
Yeah, potatoes, of course, and that's the heritage for that. For example, smoked fish and smoked meat. You heard some time ago that we had a problem with the European Union that we are smoking too much meat, but we are not eating this meat like 2 kilos in one. So we have to keep those heritage things, and that's very, very important. And then we, of course, people are changing. We are eating maybe less, maybe more. Maybe we are adapting some kind of new vegetables like asparagus, for example. Sea buckhorn berries wasn't like 15 years ago in Latvia, and so on and so on. Everything is changing. But those main things we have to keep. For example, sour cream, like we have or kefir, which is okay in the Baltics, in Soviets, but this is very, very important for us, yeah, to keep it.
Very traditional. I think if we speak about surplus food, sometimes it's very hard to get kefir out of the shape because it's going and going and going. But anyways, maybe we have some questions from the audience, but if not, then let's continue our conversation. Maybe you can, Maris, I'm also always focusing on you because you sort of are the professional with food here. What would be your 3 main, I think, takeaways for people when they are thinking about food waste, how to avoid it?
As I said, mostly it's householders, so that's main thing before, and it's not only about junk food or something. It's not about good or bad food. It's all just about eating, you know. And if you need something good, if you want something good, for example, organic, if you want to buy from some local farmer, you need a lot of time to organize that. it's more time to organize good food than cook it. For example, yeah, if you need some good meat, you need some good vegetables, or whatever. You can get it in maybe some bio stores, or some places. But if you need support, if you want to support some local farmer, it takes a lot of time. It's not only to go to a market in Sunday. It's not enough for those farmers. So I think to think a little bit ahead, like my advice is just to really think about, okay, if I will go to supermarket, what I will buy. If I will buy cauliflower, what I will make it. I need a cheese, that's it. Maybe cauliflower with cheese. So, and that's when I see in my family that we are buying, okay, in vegetables, like, but what you will do with this zucchini, for example? There is no ingredients where to combine together. Maybe your app will help. If I will have a zucchini and my wife will call, what I can do with my zucchini? I will say,
it's
okay,
your zucchini.
Now I can go to my work and completely work and this good house helper. Yeah, think a little bit before and I don't know what else.
So it's all about the planning.
I think so. Yeah,
And
it takes a lot of changing habits. Yeah.
And Regina, maybe you can tell some insights about the planning aspects in our app, because Michael's solution is a widget which is based in, sorry about the technical explanation, but this is a widget in our website. And also we have the application, and in that application there's plenty of planning opportunities, right?
Yes, exactly, and including this shopping list. This is with what everything starts. And yeah, of course, and as already Mars mentioned, we have to think a bit further. We have to think about 2-3 days further, and then make the shopping list. And we all know this classical things about not going hungry to the stores and so on. But
I didn't know that.
Really?
Well, but that makes point.
Try it. Don't go. Yes, and I believe that the next thing when you have too much zucchinis and you don't know what to do with them, you can use the empty your fridge widget just to use and put together the most as much product as you can put together from your fridge and your pantry. And I believe that this way, step by step, if we are just trying to do that, for example, for next week, and to see how much products in our fridge are still there, and what leftovers we have.
And as we know, every great journey starts with a small step. And back to Agita and the food bank, if we want to help as individuals, is it possible, or is it only for institutions and corporates?
Well, it is possible, but our laws actually is not very welcome to individual donations, because it's not possible to track it. Who is donating, what is donating, what's the inside food, and actually we have not so good experience with that. For example, a man is calling, oh, I have some leftovers from my house, I want to donate it, not to throw it away. We say, okay, you can get it to our distribution point, he comes and there is an empty box, open boxes, products which is not usable, it's not eatable. It's actually, in that moment, the feeling was that we are like garbage. Well, he's working with karma, with positive points, but in the end, the donation is, we cannot use it, we just throw it away. So this is also education. What can you donate? The food must be edible, it must be in original package. We have to know who is donating, what is donated. It's more easable working with big companies because they have all the documentation, quality, and other stuff, which is important because we have to realize that our clients is not less. They are still respectful and not just because they have low income. They are still people and they have to be possibility to get good quality products.
And any ideas of evolving the food bank? I heard that in Denmark you have the food bank shops, and any work towards these ideas, or just now the grassroots work with food bank itself?
The problem, if I can say problem, is that in Latvia we cannot collect money or even donations that we are giving food to our clients. It's our society don't understand that. It's for free. I have to get this food for free because it's donation. You cannot ask me to donate to your organization or even buy with less price. We don't understand that. It will be, I don't know, PR crisis to our food bank if we will ask money. So that's why we need to write projects, speak with organizations, donators that who are donating, for example, to our transport and warehouse costs. We cannot these costs cover with the donations from our clients. It's not working here.
So, but looking positively, I think if you have succeeded, like in 5 years, I think in the next 5 years, maybe you can open the stream of donations from the restaurants, and by the right hand you have the one very eager guy to donate.
Yes, I think so. No, we have to start with those rules. We have to start from up, and then if it works so simple in Scandinavia, which is with simple app. After catering or for after some exhibition, I write down that for example, I have 20 kilos of some salad. Simple, and and everybody can see that. It's like a birja. Everybody pick up. I need this, I need that, and it's working. So we have to work with this, and we have to start with rules. That's it. It's very important.
And before rules, it's about education. And again, back to you. You said you have kids and you're a chef at home. Do you allow them to cook?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, I'm working with them, and my advice all the time for my kids is, if you know, for example, varavīksne, I don't know how it's in English. Rainbow. So your plate has to be like rainbow. It's not only just potatoes, yellow. I have to see when they put something on a plate, I say, hey, listen, there is no rainbow. So they have to put something red, maybe it's ketchup, but anyway, potatoes, something white, something green, and so on. So that's the rainbow is more important, and more important, as I always remember them, look outside from the window and you see everything is green. So the green is the most powerful color for the food. All the animals mostly eat green. So that's the real life, the green.
Michael, as I understood from the data that, Regina was sharing the data that the most eager empty your fridge users are vegans. and the recipes are vegetarian. They are searching.
Only from those how people can choose if they want specific. If no, then no, it's not that vegans are in top, but only by a specific dietarian.
Okay,
part.
but anyways, Michael, you named your company Plant Jammer, which means that the green is the way.
Absolutely. So when it comes to plants, first of all, they're more sustainable. You just use less CO2, you use less water producing it. Then if you have to pull those very same vegetables through a cow to make cow meat, right? So it's just more efficient. Then there's the other aspect of it actually also at the same time being healthier. We need more antioxidants and fibers in our life, and we get it through the plants. So they're just powerful for us and the planet at the same time. So it just makes a lot of sense. When you put on top of that the fact that actually most of the food waste we have is on vegetables, along with bread. Probably because meat is expensive, so we always tend to use it. So the real inspiration is needed when you go plant-based. And I think one of the key advice I would give for stopping food waste in the home, that's super simple and doesn't even require a widget, is there's a concept. It's almost every country has this concept. In Italy they call it sofrito, in Spain they call it sofrito, in France they call it mirepoix. What they always do before you start cooking anything is basically take some onions on some frying oil with some spices, fry them for a little bit, put in some tomato, and have that as a base. And then whatever you use of vegetables on top of this, you're going to have the sweetness, you're going to have something umami, you're going to have the aromas, and it's going to be good. And then you can make whatever out of it. But once you started doing that, you get the smell in the kitchen, you feel like cooking, you have the good base, and you're going to do fine. And that's the key, is just getting going with this sort of little trick with getting the onions in the frying pan. Because once you get going, you smell it, you start going.
Oh, perfect. So basically you have to have one recipe which is a lifesaver. Anyway, you mentioned that key takeaway, and let's slowly wrap up our discussion. And maybe Agita, let's start with you. What would be your advice to the society, imagining that we have like 30,000 people listening to us, including the government officials, etc.?
Well, plan your meals. Don't be afraid to experiment in kitchen. And don't go to store hungry, but also not with the full. When you are totally full, then you won't buy anything. So something between hungry and full. Go to store and maybe be critical to what you are buying. Maybe you really don't need that product, that type or that size of product. Maybe buy less than more. Yeah.
Thank you.
Apzinātā ēšana kā būtu? Apzinātība.
Mindfulness.
I think mindful consuming food, it's very important. It's getting more and more popular. And I also love onions, so it's a good idea. It's very good. Onions, yeah. Buy onions. Start with onions.
Cool. Regina?
I'm thinking more about. Thanks. I'm thinking more about this educational part. And one more thing came into my mind, that in our culture it's not so widespread, but actually we don't have such information. But actually, so many products we can freeze to store longer, and this information is missing. Okay, we know that we can freeze, berries and so on. But in our culture, we actually not using this that we can freeze pies, cakes, and even cheese, right?
Yes, definitely. Freeze is new fresh. For example, you can buy fresh fish, which is frozen. Fresh. Yeah, frozen. It's better to get it frozen because while it's coming from France to Latvia, for example, it's like 5 days. But you can freeze it right there on the ship. It's more fresh than. It's a little bit have to change the mindset, you know. Freeze, frozen is new fresh. Yeah.
I like that. Frozen is new fresh. And Michael, back to you. Your. Thank you for participating and thank you for this wonderful widget and maybe some last words like takeaway for Latvia.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me here. I think my core sort of last sort of piece of advice to the 35,000 people is you can cook. Have some faith in yourself in the kitchen. There's too many people who say I can't cook. It's very simple. It really is, you know, learning to fry an onion and putting some vegetables on top to get a start. And you're gonna learn that it's super simple. So you can cook and build that confidence and believe in yourself, build the self-confidence in your life in general by taking a few small steps in the kitchen. You will stop food waste, you'll eat healthier, and you'll do something good for yourself.
Thank you, Michael. And a lot is said, and I feel a bit hungry. So let's wrap up this discussion with the takeaway that we have to respect our food and respect our recipes and respect anyway the taste, the national taste. And well, my friends, have a good meal this evening and bon app. Cheers. See you later.